Welcome back to another video, guys. We're back to normal temperatures, luckily. That heat was too much for me. I saw some people commenting like, oh, that's our low temperature in the summer, that 30 degrees or 90 Fahrenheit. That's insane. I don't need that kind of temperature. But anyway, we're grabbing the skid steer because we got some straw packs to clean out this morning. We're gonna get started. So that's the straw pack we're taking out. It's for the calves, the reno barn here. It's pretty clean. It's because we just put bedding in, but we quickly after decided to take them out. So we gotta clean it out now. And it is actually pretty high. I don't know if you guys can see it on camera that well, but it is probably 2 feet deep of straw pack. So we got some work ahead of us. So right away, once I started using this bucket, I noticed my pedals down here that I used to control it with, they're not moving so good, and that's gonna really slow me down. So right away at the beginning here, I'm gonna have to clean all of the crap out from underneath those pedals. That just happens when guys step in here with their boots. I do it too. They're dirty. You're walking through the barn and you track a bunch of crap in here and it packs underneath there. And then you can't move it the full way and it just slows your bucket movement down. So I'm gonna probably grab some gloves and clean that out. Well, I was about to start tackling that straw pack there, but Dean was feeding here this morning. It looks like something got into this auger from the bin and plugged it up, stalled it out, and then it stalled the motor out. Took us a little bit to get that motor going again. It tries to spin now at least, so we made some ground there, but it's still plugged up. So unfortunately, we got to put a pipe wrench on the top of that auger there, and that'll get us to the flighting of the auger, and we can manually spin it like that. It's pretty tough work, but at least we can get the auger going like that. So once we've manually spun a bunch of the grain out of there, I'll turn it on and see if it goes. This is the beat ball bin, and that's the heaviest grain that we got to auger out of one of these bins. We always feed it really slow. I've seen a pigeon in there once though, and that kind of buggers it up. And sometimes you get some trash in the bins, really rarely, but maybe like a little chunk of tire, and that'll plug one of these augers. It's pretty unfortunate. You wouldn't have this problem with commodity bins, but to each their own. There's pros and cons with everything, I guess, but we'll try it again here. Well, we got it unplugged. Didn't see anything in there. I don't know, sometimes maybe it's overloaded, or I don't know, maybe something was in there, but we got it going again and it's looking good. So got our gloves. All right, we got those pedals cleaned out a bit. See how much that does for me. I think it's gonna speed things up a lot this morning. It is the next morning. Dad took out the other straw pack of the reno barn over there. It's pretty cold this morning. We have a little temperature gauge right here. You guys can see it is -1 right now. I'm sure the canola that's up out of the ground already is gonna like that. Hopefully nothing freezes, man. We put the crops in pretty early this year, and temperatures like this are pretty sketchy. but I think it should be fine. -1's not too bad. I'm in our storage shed right now, and we got a pretty cool project going on today. We got a guy coming out with a skid steer, and he's gonna be working in here all day probably. Our plan is to take all the sand, or like a couple inches of sand out of here, and then we're gonna backfill it in with gravel. It's just gonna make a nicer surface in our shed here. The biggest problem with this shed, like, it's awesome, it's big, we can store all of the equipment in here, keep it out of the sun, keep it nice and dry in the wintertime. If it rains, we can always just park something in here. This shed is awesome. It's just got one major downfall, and that is if you park something in here for even just a month, it's absolutely covered in dust. Every single square inch, every nook and cranny on every piece of equipment just gets completely covered up in dust when you park it in here for any amount of time. And that's because the floor in here is all sand, and we'd like to change that. So we got some gravel just outside of the shed here, and some more gravel piles way over there, and we might be getting even more today. And we're going to be scooping the sand out of here, and then we're going to be filling it up with gravel again. And we want it to be perfectly nice and level. That's why we're getting the skid steer out here. Some professional, you know, we're not going to be good enough with our Bobcat to get it perfectly level. You got to kind of have some experience with that to get it really neat. And I don't know, maybe they'll have a level. So he's going to probably scoop all the sand out. The reason why we're not just dumping gravel in here on top of it is because the roof is on the lower end, and when the drill is folded up, I think we're half a foot. It's just literally just a couple of inches off of the ceiling, and that's why we got to make sure we don't bring the floor too high. If anything, we're going to bring the floor down a little bit even after we take that much sand out. So that's the plan today. The skid steer guy should be showing up here shortly, and we're going to be helping him out with the case wheel loader over there, because to let this guy move all the sand out of here and bring all the gravel in is gonna really make things take a lot longer for him. Dad's just moved all the equipment out this morning. Trucks, the combine sitting outside there, and he's just getting it ready. But yeah, that's what we're doing today. So you can see the first couple of streaks through the shed there. We're gonna be, I guess, peeling all the dirt out, and then that skid steer will do most of the fine work. It's pretty difficult to use the loader to kind of scrape an even amount of dirt nice and smooth out of something like this. You just got to really be careful that you're not digging down too deep too quickly, because then you're going to dig some holes, and the guy said that he doesn't want holes in here, which makes sense. It's going to make things a lot harder. So just trying to slowly drive, make sure that if I am going too deep, I'm going to catch it right away, lift the bucket up a little bit. And one thing I do got to slowly do as we get through the shed, about halfway, I got to start lifting the bucket up a little bit to get some weight on those front tires because of the sand that's in the bucket. Otherwise I'll spin out and we'll run out of grip. But once I get some weight on those front tires, I should be good to go. Push it all straight out. So that's the skid steer. You guys can see it's got tracks on there, and that's a earthworks unit, I guess. It's for working in the dirt and that kind of stuff. And this guy's, I guess, he's got quite a bit of experience moving dirt, and he's gonna level it out first. And I believe they're gonna get a laser level, and they're gonna see the level in the floor, and then we're gonna put the gravel in, and then with a laser somehow pull that all flat as well. So I'm pretty much done in here. I just took out the volume, and he's gonna make it neat and level pretty good. So, but I think I'm done. I'm gonna start getting rid of this pile of dirt that's right here. We actually took quite a bit of sand out already. That's not a small pile at all. So I'm gonna start getting rid of that pile, getting it out of the way there. We gotta give a quick shout out to Costa too for cleaning the cab of this case loader. I've already tracked a bit of sand in here, but it is looking snazzy in here. Wow. Probably didn't look so good in here since we bought it. So me and Dad are hauling with both wheel loaders. He's in the New Holland, I'm in the case, and we're actually wheeling this stuff directly into our sand room. Yeah, this material does look a little bit darker than the sand that we had in there before, but it still should be fine. So buddy with the skid steer finished up this afternoon, leveling the dirt out. He's maybe got a little bit of work to do tomorrow morning yet, but it's looking neat in this shed now. I'm gonna use the loader and wheel a couple of buckets of gravel in the back little bit of the shed here. Get a bit of a start so we don't have to do all of it tomorrow morning. Well, we probably got a quarter of the shed lined with gravel now. It's looking really good. That's all we're gonna do today though. I'm gonna grab the combine, put it back in here. We're also gonna park the auger in here overnight. And those are the two things that are gonna stay in here, and we'll drive them out again tomorrow morning. Drive the combine around for a little bit. Don't mind if I do. All right, let's get this thing back in the shed. All right, we will get back to this tomorrow morning for hopefully a finished product. We'll see you guys then. Well guys, this is the next day, and the skid steer guy finished up with the gravel in the shed here, and it looks awesome. It's perfectly level. The shed also looks a ton brighter just because the floor is so much lighter and there's light ricocheting off of it, and it just looks awesome. So we picked up a packer, just a hand one that you can pull, and Costa's running that right now. He's gonna do the entire shed and pack all the gravel down. You can see the difference. This is packed and this is not packed. This is still super loose, and this just feels solid. Almost feels like you're walking on concrete. Not quite, but it's a million times better than this. And that's hopefully gonna keep all of the gravel super tight on the ground when you're driving equipment in and out of here. We don't want to get it rutted up too much. We just want to keep that gravel in place where it's nice and level and the shop looks neat. It's nice and smooth to drive on. That's why we're packing it. So Costa's on there. They're just going back and forth and back and forth. Well, you guys can see Dad went ahead and parked some equipment in here already. This is kind of the stuff that's got to stay dry. We should be getting some rain up here pretty quickly, which is really awesome because we kind of really need it. But the auger, the two trucks, the combine, that kind of stuff needs to stay dry. There's some other stuff still outside, like the manure wagon, a couple of tractors. It doesn't really matter if those get rained on it or not, and that's why you park this stuff in here, I guess. But anyway, Costa finished packing this up this morning, this gravel. He packed it twice, and it is pretty solid. You can see the loader just drove on it there, and it left a little bit of tread marks, and that's it. Didn't even make a rut or nothing. So this gravel is packed in here, super solid. I think it looks awesome, and it's going to be super practical. Every time we drive something in and out of here, it's not going to be a complete dust storm, making everything dirty. Solid upgrade for our farm. We're stoked about this. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you enjoyed, hit those like and subscribe buttons down below. It really helps the channel out, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.